Hi, friends. Welcome to Enlightened World Network. Dr. Ruth Anderson here with Michele Landers for our 2025 forecast and January forecast. So pleased to have Michele Landers with us. She is EWN's very favorite numerologist. She brings in a little bit of everything as she does these forecasts, so cannot wait to hear what Michele Landers has for us today. Michele, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Ruth. And you know how I feel about you and EWN, such a beautiful network, and you offer so much to so many people. And gosh, we need it this year. So bless you and bless EWN. So here we are. Another year has gone by, and I think what we're going to do when we get started, I'm going to do something a little bit different that I haven't done before, but I think everybody will enjoy it because who's ever listening or watching, you're going to get to have a glimpse of your personal year. And it's going to be really easy to figure that out. And some of you I know are already numerologist enthusiasts, so you may know. So let's get started. So I'll talk first about the major influence on a global level, which is really important this year. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the individual personal year for 2025. So get a paper and pencil ready just to calculate, or your phone or whatever, or you can even just listen again to the recording. Sound good? Okay, so let's get going. So we have a number of predictive modalities that always tell us about what we can expect. One is Chinese astrology, and that'll begin on January 29th when we enter into the year of the Greenwood Snake. And the last time that we had the year of the Greenwood Snake was in 1965. And a lot of things happened in 1965, but it was the rise of the counterculture movement, a big push for equality, civil rights. It was about transformation. And part of that word transformation could also apply, believe it or not, to like recycling. We were learning how to transform trash and how to change things and transform things, excuse me. Now, in the tarot, we have the Hermit and the Moon cards, which are telling us so much about the year. And those are the number 9 and 18, which are very significant in 2025. So, what is the Hermit? The Hermit seeks inner wisdom. It takes the time to reflect, to look within ourselves. It's contemplative. That's very, very important this year because honestly, this year, more than ever, we need to rely on our own intuitive voice, not the, crazy, all the noise of the news media and the politicians, all that stuff. We really, really have to get super intent on going within because there's going to be a lot out there and it's going to be difficult to decipher truth from fiction. Then we have the Moon card. And what is the Moon card? The Moon card warns us, and I just want you to take this within the context of the whole year, but it warns us, watch out for some hidden enemies, and this is globally now. Watch out for deception. So that's what the Moon card is suggesting to us. Be very aware, be careful, consider everything that you hear with a grain of salt. Astrologically, well, there are many, many, many transits, but because I really want to focus on the individual today, I'll just tell you about two important transits. One is what I've been talking about for over a year, right? Pluto in Aquarius, and it's there. Or I should say, it's not there. It is here, and it's not moving for another 20 odd years. And that's significant. We've got the beginning, it's rolling out, it's going to inspire, it's going to break down things, it's going to change things. It's going to be, in the end, power to the people. And I'm going to stand on that because that is what Pluto in Aquarius is about. And we will see that start to unfold. Now, again, it's a 20-year transit. So this is going to be going on for a while. And I'm excited about that. Then we have an unusual number of outer planets that are shifting signs. All of these things, and especially the number 9, is pointing to a really, really pivotal year. So what is the numerological universal energy for the planet this year? It's so simple. Most people know how to do this. We simply add the number 2025. So 2 plus 0 plus 2 is 4 plus 5 is 9. So in numerology, just to give everybody an idea how this works, we use a system of interpretation. Basically, it goes from 1 to 9. And do I interpret compound numbers? Of course I do, but I don't want to get too complicated right now. And for all intents and purposes, what we're doing today, it's going to be fine to use the single digits. So it's always good to start at the beginning. So our planet is in a 9 universal energy year. Each year, our planet goes through different numeric cycles from 1 to 9. And when I do a chart, even if you and someone else have the same personal year, there are many other transits in someone's chart to interpret based on your birth date and your birth name. And that'll differentiate your chart from someone else's, and that creates like a full profile. Nevertheless, the yearly cycle is really, really important, and it holds valuable information. So again, these cycles go from 1 to 9, and then they repeat 1 to 9. So in 2025, the planet is ending, our planet is ending a 9-year cycle. And in 2026, the planet will begin a brand new cycle of 1 to 9. So in 2026, we will be in a number 1 year cycle. So to get to those new beginnings, we have to go through endings. And that ending is this year, 2025. And you can imagine that major changes in cycles can create major changes in the world. It is one of the most transitional years that we've had in quite a while. Some or maybe many of you know what your personal year you're in, and that's great. But if you don't know, that's okay. I'm going to explain it in very, very, very simple terms. How do you find your personal year number? Well, this is interesting in this year because we're in a 9 universal year. And because we're in a 9 universal year, it's even easier to figure out your personal year. The only thing you have to do, and that's only for this year, add your month of birth to your day of birth and reduce that number to a single digit. That's all. So here's an example. If your birthday is July 5th, you would add 7 plus 5 together. That equals 12. Now reduce that 12 one more time to get a single digit. So add 1 plus 2, and you have a final single total of 3. So the number 3 is your personal year for 2025. Here's a caveat, and here's a secret. Only this year, in a 9 year, can you take that shortcut. Because think about this. Any number added to 9 will always reduce to the number added to 9. So if you didn't know that, try this out. 9 plus 5 is 14. If you add 1 and 4 together, what do you get? 5. 9 plus 9 is 18. If you add 1 and 8 together, you get 9. Add 9 plus 7, you get 16. 1 plus 6, 7. So pretty easy. But again, only this year can you take that shortcut for your personal year. Month of birth, day of birth added together, and then reduce to a single digit. So here's a little something I want to talk about briefly, though. I want to make crystal clear is that what we all know about predictions is this, whether it's numerology, psychic readings, astrology, tarot, um, even in everyday earth matters and predictions, people make predictions about the housing market, the financial market. What all these modalities tell us are probabilities, tendencies, and possibilities. Although I do believe on this planet there are fated events, nothing we can do about it, still, we do have a certain amount of free will. And that means circumstances can show up, opportunities can show up, individuals can show up, and we have a choice on how we're going to handle those events, experiences, people. So I still believe also if we follow the probabilities of each year universally and personally, it can be very helpful in navigating through the year. And so you might say, well, how so? What do you mean? Well, on an everyday level, we make choices on what we know, on what we believe might happen in the future. We hear that interest rates are coming down. So if you wanted to buy a home, you might think, well, this is a good time to do that. Or if you're an investor, you might be considering investing in Bitcoin because you know that's all the buzz right now. So it's no different with the psychic sciences. We base our predictions on numbers, on the movement of the planets, the energy of what a psychic sees, a tarot reader. So as an example, in numerology, if someone is in a 7 personal year and they have all this energy to start something brand new, although I have to say, usually people in a 7 year tend to have this slow down energy. I would tell them whatever it is that they want to begin, unless it's something that delves into the psychic sciences, spirituality, detective work, all of that is under 7. I would tell them to slow down a bit. And if it's a business, I would suggest, if possible, well, wait until the following year to start that new business or anything else. And that's just a really small example. Okay, so hopefully you have your number for 2025. And before I go into your individual years, I'm just going to take a look at what does January in 2025, what does it mean? So what are my words for 2025? Intense, passionate, extreme. I think right now there are a lot of people who have no idea what's about to happen and are confused and wondering and saying, gosh, what's going to be up? Well, I can tell you that 9 is a number of closure. So we've been building this energy for 8 years now, because remember, the numbers go from 1 to 9. And it's time now to take the best of whatever it is that we've learned and grown and evolved with and leave the rest that's not working. This is definitely a year of clearing out what's no longer helpful, what's no longer supportive to us, what's no longer nurturing to us. And this is on a global level. And this energy is going to bubble up and overflow as if the world is just chucking up what it can no longer tolerate. And I can even hear people saying, I imagine people saying, I can't do this anymore. I'm done with this. So, what are some of the challenges of the 9 energy? Well, the 9 is such a global number. It's such a big number. It's so expansive, and there are a lot of good parts or energy pieces of the 9, but I'm going to tell you first about what are the challenges. So a 9 energy can sometimes produce big, huge ego showing up, a lot of pounding the chest, me, squabbling, leaders falling from grace, leaders squabbling. The number 9 is ruled by Mars. Mars is the ruler of the planet Aries. Mars is warlike. It doesn't mean that war is going to break out, although I do believe there's going to be little pockets all over. But it's it's angry. Aries is fiery and also warlike. And in fact, January feels very fiery. January is a 1 month, and because it's added to the 9, it's also a 1 month. So it's going to be a lot of out there energy, a lot of intensity. So the first couple of months has the feel of a little bit of confusion, an overload of communication. Around the 20th, there's an energy of anger. There's an energy of like fighting, of just nothing's being settled. And there is also something to do with January 12th. And it feels like more something happening that has to do with healing. I don't know if that's medicine. I don't know if that is a healing of a place. I don't know, but keep that in mind, January 12th. Okay, so we also have Neptune and Pisces at play. And what does that do? Those are very, very watery types of energy. So it will bring, no doubt, this year, again, lots of watery energy, lots of emotional overload, extreme flooding, especially March, April, maybe May, maybe later. I do think there's going to be some major water related events, hurricanes here in Florida and this part of the United States, tornadoes, tsunamis, landslides, things like that, flash floods, a lot of flooding, war on the sea. Now, I'm not sure how to interpret that other than, does it mean something to do with the ocean, some problems, some issues, or is it literally war on the ocean, something to do with ships or submarines or something like that? I don't know. It's war on the sea. Reversely, there can be droughts. So it's having a lot of energy having to do with water and major storms and fires and a lot of pockets of conflicts going on. Yes, possible terrorists and cyber attacks. I don't see just so everybody knows, I don't see this as the end of the world. Okay. I'm just saying that there's turbulence going on here. Volatility of the financial market. I do think in the end, the financial market's going to be fine, but don't be surprised and don't be scared if you see up and down, because that's what it feels like, the volatility. Big companies getting caught with their hand in the cookie jar, so to speak, and illegal activities. Robotics, more and more robotics, as well as AI, of course. Now, here, let me flip the switch just a little bit. What else is 9? It's the entertainment industry. And what I'm thinking is that kind of celebrity worship in Hollywood is really diminishing. And the reason I'm saying that is Neptune's moving out of Pisces, okay? But having to do with the entertainment field, I got to tell you, anybody who is in the entertainment field or anybody who is in any of the creative arts, this could be a very, very good year for you, because along with the sense of endings and issues and egos and all that, we have the flip side. Again, numbers are all dual. So this is why we have numerology. You want to focus on and attach to the positive aspects of the 9. So the 9 is about entertainment and the humanities. It's so creative. Lots of people, I believe, are going to be getting these inspirational downloads. They're inspired to create something beautiful. We might even have some new classics popping up. It's that strong. More and more people opening up spiritually. What else is nine? Healing. A lot of doctors have the number nine, huge, major healing time, breakthroughs in medicines. Okay. There was something else I wanted to say about this and the art. Yeah, but it's a compassionate energy, very compassionate. So I think that a lot of energy is going towards healing. Aliens, I don't know. I kind of think this is a year we might finally hear something. We might finally know for sure. Oh, right, there's aliens, secrets coming out. Okay, so we have to understand that the flip side of all the endings are will usher in new beginnings. And I want to mention again, just like everything else, numbers are dual. Things can be good, and conversely, they can be bad. Fire can heat, but fire can destroy. Water can quench, water can flood. Numbers are no different. If we work with the positive energy of each number, especially in your personal year, things can go a lot smoother. And listen, I'm a numerologist. I've been doing this for what, 20, 30 years. I know in my own chart, when I don't follow the positive aspects of it, it's easy for me to fall into the pitfalls. But let's talk a little bit more about the positive attributes of the nine. It is one of the most compassionate numbers. It's the humanitarian. And again, it's the artist, it's the humanities. It has all the attributes of all the other numbers combined. So I love that. I love that. It is compassion. I believe that more groups will be forming to support the whole in all areas, emotionally, psychologically, physically, more community gardens forming. AI is going to grow by leaps and bounds. And I think there's going to be new regulations on social media and all of this because how AI is growing. Again, the artists, the entertainment field, amazing new special effects, crazy things, new movies. It's very passionate. Nine wants to reform. So I think that more and more artists, instead of going to Hollywood or even Atlanta or New York or whatever, I think a lot of artists are going to be creating their own niche. They're going to be more independent, I should say. So I'm going to touch upon a few months astrologically that I think everybody should know about. And then we'll go into the personal year. So March, April, and May, we have six or seven planet stellium happening. And a stellium is a concentration of those planet energies in a sign, and that can have a significant effect. Also, again, and I think I don't know about numerologists, but I think other astrologers are talking about it. There may be another assassination attempt around that time, March, April, May. We also have things really speeding up, March, April, May. We have Uranus and Gemini, things really speeding up, and the USA has its Pluto return. So what does that mean? It remains to be seen, but I think that it has a lot to do with what's going on with our country and how things are going to change. Now, astrologically, 3 of the 4 outer planets, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, are important because they're moving into masculine signs all around the same time. So that means the world is going to express itself or express its energy in a more external way. And that, unfortunately, could also mean an aggressive way. So I kind of see leaders going at it or fighting. I know a lot of this might sound a little grim, but remember, it's a year of a lot of volatility, volatility, but there's definitely bright spots and advances in this year, in this coming year. And it's time to be innovative and think outside the box. And most importantly, relying on your intuitive self. If I have recently heard of so many more people becoming interested and involved in meditation, people that I never believed would, teenagers turning into meditation. So I think that is such an incredibly positive sign. And when you do things like meditation or Tai Chi or any of those modalities that bring you inward, then you start relying more on your inner voice than the outer voice, and you get to be much calmer and look at the world differently. So we want to, in this 9 year, we want to focus on opening our hearts, having compassion like you've never had before, being conscious, looking at, and this might sound strange, but looking at forgotten hobbies, things that you did years ago, or creative talents that you did years ago, that think about that, and might you want to resurrect some of those things? Very importantly, think about what needs to be released in your life to go forward. Now, here's something that kind of is out of left field. On another note, the USA is in a number 2 year. Now that's interesting because a lot of the energy is very much outward and male and aggressive. But interestingly, the number 2 expresses itself as female energy. So what does that mean? The US is going to struggle to find balance, because that's what a 2 energy is about. That's what female energy is about. Let's come together. Let's find balance. So the US is going to be struggling to find balance, diplomacy, harmony, how to listen, how to be more cooperative. I think there's definitely going to be an outpouring of the female voice. It can mean more females in position of power, more people, more females speaking out. Female issues, abortion is still a big thing. So if the USA is not expressing itself as the positive aspects of the number 2, then of course, what are we going to have? We're going to experience the opposite of the things I just mentioned. It's going to be a tug of war. It will be imbalance between the positive and the negative. And the number 2 demands cooperation, it demands balance, and it demands understanding. So as the months go by, of course, I'm going to be talking more about the energies and how things are unfolding. But right now, I'd really, really like to get to everybody's personal year. So again, hopefully you have figured out what your personal year is. Again, just add your month of birth, your day of birth together, reduce it to a single digit, and that will be your personal year. So I'm going to start at the beginning, which is always the number 1. So if you are in a 1 personal year, your word this year is tenacious. This year, you have more control over destiny, probably than many other years in that cycle from 1 to 9, because it's a time to be independent and it's time to be courageous. It is a time for new beginnings, whether that's your home, whether that's career, whether that's business, whether that's health, whether that's personal relationships. This is the beginning of a brand new 9-year cycle for you. So make sure your decisions are sound. You've got to really rely on yourself in a 1 year. It doesn't mean not to get help. It just means it's better to keep your own counsel. Be determined, be assertive, self-assured. Don't allow others to sway you. If you think you have a really good idea or a goal and you really feel strongly about it, Don't allow those other voices to come at you and say, oh, I have a cousin who did that and that never worked out. Don't listen. Listen to your own counsel. Specifically, have a definitive purpose and know that whatever you plant now in a 1 year will likely be around for a long time. So when I say that, I'm telling you, make sure it's good. Choose wisely. Okay, so let's go to a 2 year. If you are in a two personal year, as I mentioned earlier, it's a very female vibration, and your word this year will be patience. The year calls for balance and cooperation, as I had mentioned. The year is full of dualities. The two is feminine in nature and thus is going to enhance your yin energy. It's going to promote intuition. It's definitely more emotional. And women with dealings, more dealings with women is going to be uppermost in your life this year for whatever reason, and partnerships. It can also bring about a reconciliation of a relationship that maybe has been broken off in the last couple of years. It's a good year for collecting. That can be antiques, that could be things. It can definitely be information, collecting information. It's about partnerships. It's about agreements. It's cooperative ventures. Relationships are all highlighted, especially in a 2 year. Now, if you are in a three personal year, your word for the year is expression. The 3 year focus is on youthfulness, it's on joy, it's on emotions, it's on creativity. The year encourages creative and inspired idea. It encourages you to express yourself. It encourages you to be social. It also has this glamorous, a little bit of this glamorous energy about it and a youthful energy about it. So relative to your life, you might find yourself in some kind of glamorous situation, something that you go, oh, wow, look at this. This is amazing. So anything of an artistic nature is especially highlighted. Communication, lots of talking about things. And although there's an emphasis on entertainment and social activities and enjoyment, don't lose sight of your goals and your ambitions in a 3 year, because although a 3 year can be really spontaneous and fun, some of the pitfalls of the three are scattering your energies all over the place. Even being like envious or jealous, drifting without a purpose, not settling down and saying, okay, I want to move forward with this and be creative. Don't take things at face value. By the way, that goes for everyone. So that's the 3 energy. So now if you're in a 4 personal year, your word this year is efficient. And I couldn't decide whether to use efficient or organized because both are equally true. When we hit a 4 year, it kind of demands our attention to work and to details. And if you're not working, then it's everyday things, either around your house. In a 4 year, sometimes we feel like we want to go here and we've got these little obstacles in the way. It's a very important year foundationally. So even though we may feel some limitations and we may feel a little boxed in at times, again, it's really an important year to lay a good foundation. It's a year to be systematic. It's a year to put your plans in order. The number 4 vibrates to the earth, anything earth related, great for gardens, great for real estate, great for building. And I know if it might feel a little bit like a hardworking year, but it's important, a very important year, because it is laying the groundwork for your life in the following year, and actually in the long haul, believe it or not, in the following 12 years. If you are in a 5 personal year, your word is change. So a lot of my friends who know that, I do numerology, they say, I know it's the fun house. Well, it is and it isn't. In a 5 year, the key words are change and restlessness. You might feel this restlessness or this energy. I've got to get out of here. I got to do something. You may feel the need to transform different areas of your life, whether it's physically and mentally, emotionally. The year is pivotal. It's full of surprises, and at times you might feel that you're on a roller coaster. I can tell you, I'm in a 5 year. I'm ending my 5 year, and I'm very glad because it has been very much a roller coaster year. It's a bit of a romantic vibration. That's nice. A lot of short trip travel, but also be careful because it's slightly accident prone. But in a 5 year, I know one of the other things I wanted to say about a 5 year is so interesting because you might, your plans might be delayed, or somebody says, no, I'm not going to do that. I can't. And like almost immediately something else shows up. It's the most interesting thing in a 5 year. So welcome all that is new, whether that's people, whether that's places, whether that's things. It's good for advertising. Pregnancy vibrations, if that has anything to do with your life, if that applies, are very strong. And along with that, affairs of children in your life are highlighted. So the key in a 5 year, in a 5 personal year, is to let go. Just let go, go with the flow. You'll have a great year, and you might discover some very interesting things, new things, exciting things. Okay, so if you are in a 6 personal year, your word is love. And I love the 6 year for that. It's a very personal vibration. The main focus is on your close relationships, on marriage, on family, home, domestic obligations, responsibilities, but you have to be careful. What are your responsibilities and what are other people's responsibilities and not yours? You don't want to interfere. This is one of the strongest marriage vibrations, but it also can change to like a partnering aspect as well to the year. It usually involves some issues concerning your life partner, if that applies, but it can also involve business partnering. For a lot of people in a 6 year, they have this nesting instinct is strong, and they want to kind of settle down or settle in or fix up. I want to fix up my house. I want to move. I want to change things. Any issues or problems in relationships will come to the surface, but equally true, if you're in a good relationship, I'm going to tell you that the 6 is great because it makes things even stronger in a relationship. Okay, let's move on to 7. Now, if you are in a 7 personal year, your word is insight. I love the 7 year. It's very closely aligned to the number 2 in the sense of the emotional energy of it and the feminine energy of it. This is really a very, very important year in the spiritual sense because the number 7 in numerology is related to the God force. So personally, I have found that 2 things almost always occur in a 7 year. One is decisions concerning important areas or important issues in your life are made. It's kind of a decision-making time, or you're coming to a decision. You're thinking about, I got to change this. And number 2, people, acquaintances that you haven't seen or heard from in quite a while will likely reappear, reestablish contact with you. it's it's not a year to push anything, nothing past kind of day-to-day activities. A lot of time is spent in introspection, self-analysis, reevaluation, and as I said, issues or decisions concerning important areas of your life. It's not the best time to take pills, unless you really have to. I want to be careful about that. If you have medications that you need to take, absolutely, of course. What else about a 7? It's a very introspective, beautiful year, and you can really reach spiritual heights in a 7 year. Okay, so let's go to an 8 year. So if you're in an 8 personal year, your word this year is power. The number 8 represents your personal power, how you use it. It's recognition for your abilities. It is symbolized by the 8th card of the tarot, which is the strength card. And truly, a big part of your year is going to revolve around money, power, material aspects, authority, whether that's your authority or authority over you. And that can create a little bit of a rub, so to speak. So the 8 year deals with matters of the material and the physical world. It can bring a lot of your plans and desires to fruition. Many times there's an accumulation of money and material aspects. Also positions of authority. But one of the most important aspects of the 8 year, which I like to emphasize, is the balance between the material world and the spiritual world. Because, 8 in numerology, everybody says it's about money, 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 but honestly, it's about the understanding of money in a spiritual sense. Now, what does that mean? Understanding that we can use money, but we can't allow money to use us, if that makes sense. Okay. So now we have a 9 personal year. So in a 9 personal year, your word is compassion. This can be a very emotional and sensitive year. It's a clearing away of things that just are not needed in your life anymore, in order for you to begin a brand new cycle of 1 to 9 in the following year, next year, 2026. So sometimes things are removed in a 9 year that we didn't want to get removed, but those are things that are part of fate. And that's unfortunate. However, I want to also say, if we really believe that there's more than this world, then we should understand that if people leave our life in a 9 year, whether that is through breakups or passing away, especially with passing away, we have to believe that there is another life out there. I just want to emphasize that. So it is also a really wonderful time for long distance travel. And along with that, it's about learning about other cultures, other worlds. It's a bringing together of humanity. It's learning about other people and how they live. And I also suggest a 9 year is not usually conducive to beginning anything new. However, sometimes people shudder. Well, I wanted to start this. All right, take it slow. If you can wait till the second half of the year to move a project forward, that's great. If you can't, then just be prepared. There might be a few roadblocks here and there. You might be changing your original intent for whatever it is that you wanted to do. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful year to sell. It's a wonderful year to advertise. Not the best year to buy, but again, if you must buy, if you do really want to purchase something, try to do it in the second half of the year. Another good thing about the nine and the endings is for many people, the year also can bring an end or relief from some type of nagging health problem. So the other great part about the 9 years, an excellent year to end any bad habits. So those are the personal years from 1 to 9, and I hope that everyone enjoyed hearing that little tidbit. There's so much more to say about your life path and your personal year. And I also want to mention, besides the fact that you can obviously get your chart done by contacting me. And if you email me, I'll give you a little bonus. Email me at michelelanders@bellsouth.net. Michele is with 1L. And I also want to mention that I will be doing a 2-day numerology workshop 101 on EWN on February 22nd and 23rd. So check that out. You'll be receiving more information about it. And thank you all so much. And I hope you all have a blessed and beautiful month and year. And thank you.
Michele, thank you so much. What a beautiful gift you just gave us of teaching us how to find our personal year and then giving us the clues, what it means.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah. And friends, do take Michele up on her offer. First of all, for the workshop on February 22 and 23, we'll be sending out information about that. But also for connecting with her and getting your own personal chart done, it helps explain a lot, I think. Yeah.
I think it does too. And as I say, it's a good roadmap. And God knows we can use all the help we can get. I maybe just speaking for myself, I love it if I have a little insight into the energies, whether that's again through tarot, through astrology, through numerology. It's a good guide. It's a good it makes it easier to navigate through the year. If, as an example, I'm going into a 6 year, and that's very much about family. So one of the things that I do, I'm a board certified coach, right? So a lot of times I go into coaching mode. Well, I have to say something about that. In a 6 year, that's great for my clients, not so great for me to be so over giving in my advice to other people, because some people may not want it. So I have to be extra careful. So I have that in mind, don't go into coaching mode all the time. Things I wanted to do in my house. This is going to be a great year to do it. So that's why I say it's great to get your chart done, because it does show you the pitfalls and show you the areas where, yeah, push ahead with that. That's perfect. It makes life just a little bit easier to navigate. And I don't know who wouldn't want that. Right?
Yay. Thank you so much. So friends, reach out to Michele Landers at Michele Landers with 1L at bellsouth.net. And again, be watching here on EWN for information on the upcoming workshop in February. So Michele, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate your insight and the time and energy that you put into doing this for us here. So friends, thank you for being here. We look forward to 2025 with you. So take good care. God bless. Thanks, everyone.